taxes on tips, and you extend a new tax credit for first-time home buyers, wouldn't both of those add to the debt?
Well, he said I'm not going to vote to increase the debt, but he's suggesting that if we don't tax tips, it might contribute to the debt. But that's not an expenditure. That is based on the assumption that if we give you back some of your own money, it's a cost to government. That's not a cost to government when you get to keep what you've earned.
Right, that's right.
If I had my way and I had my brothers, I would pay for it in the sense that I would cut a lot more spending overseas so that we didn't go further in the debt. But giving back people their own money is not a cost. That is not a contribution to the debt. The debt is created by spending too much money, not because we don't allow you to keep all your money. So I would look at that one differently.
Issue of tourism, and you mentioned elements like the TSA and trying to remove barriers to tourism, but in Washington there's pretty much been a bipartisan effort for the last year or so that you also do a lot of promotion for tourism. Would there be any place for that to increase tourism to the United States in your economic plan?
Would there be, I think this basic question is, would I support the promotion of the tourist industry by sending them money? No, I wouldn't do that. I don't think that's the responsibility of one group of taxpayers to support the others. Which ones are you going to support, and why should you transfer the money? So people can make money and get the hindrance of these visas and get the disapproval and the disagreement we have with the TSA. People just don't like to go through that. And travel agencies have had a lot of suggestions of how we can streamline the visas, and we should work on that. But people who want to advertise should advertise. One group shouldn't get paid government advertisement than somebody else. Besides, the advertisement would be distributed to their friends. It would be political rather than just general, because all of a sudden you have a mixture of big business and big government, and that leads to trouble.
Congressman Paul, President Obama's recent reduction in defence spending from a two-war strategy to a one-war preparedness strategy seems to me the greatest structural downsizing of the American military in recent times. Would you commit to continuing that? And does President Obama's actions in that make him closer to your position than you are to your Republican?
I was talking about whether I would agree and continue the downsizing that Obama has started to talk about. But when I see one nickel cut out of the military budget, then I will become more interested. He's talking only about cutting some of the proposed increases. But I like the language, downsize. Rumsfeld talked about it all the time. Let's have a smaller and elite military and a fast-moving military. It never happened, and it didn't. But if we're going to do that, we have to downsize our foreign policy. We can't be the policeman of the world. In the military budget, I don't want to cut one penny out of the defense budget, but you cannot equate military spending with defense, because it's not the same. Matter of fact, military spending for bad reasons generally leads to a weaker defense, and we have to come to understand that.
Caucus states, in particular Nevada, as ripe targets for your campaign. But at some point, don't you actually need to win a contest as opposed to coming in second, coming in third, even if you are pulling delegates out of these states, to make your campaign continue in a credible way?
Our goal is to win. You win by getting maximum number of delegates. Not to spend in states where it's winner take all in very big states. We get pretty good donations, but we don't have the hundreds of millions of dollars that others have. So we have to be wiser in our expenditures, and it's more competitive in a state like Nevada. I'm delighted that Nevada makes it fair where we can come and compete for the vote. So that is why we're here. We're here to get delegates, and when we get the delegates and build up momentum, sure, we can win. But do I think it's not a major job? It is very major. But the goal is to get delegates. You get delegates so you can win.
This is more of a follow-up to the military spending question that was just raised about the Obama administration. Just continuing on those same lines, today it was announced that Defense Secretary Panetta is going to end the war in Afghanistan in 2013. Your biggest point of contention has been, obviously, the foreign wars overseas. What do you think about this, and what's your response?
It's a great idea, and I'll believe it when I see it. Started. And just recently we said that we had left Iraq. Today there's negotiations going on to send in more troops. But we have the drones all around Iraq, we're all over the Middle East, we're there, and we have created a monstrous of a problem over there. There was always a problem, but it's much worse. Because before we went into Iraq, there were no Al-Qaeda. Now there's Al-Qaeda there. The Christians have been pushed out, and the Sunnis have been humiliated, and now it's a country allied with the Iranians. And that's supposed to help us. So we're still in Iraq. We're going to be in Iraq. We're going to see troops back there. Unless we change the foreign policy, still assume that we have this moral responsibility, and we have the wealth that we can endlessly be the policemen of the world and start war after war. We better be, instead of daydreaming about bringing troops home in a year or so, what we ought to do is be talking about not sending any troops into Syria and not sending any